Hey, everyone. All right, welcome to this live stream. We are here to discover, reconnect her to win. I'm looking for my crew because we should be here live together, and I'll check and see if I can get them to join us. I want to make sure I sent the right link. But I want to go over the conference this weekend, what we all experienced. If you came to the conference, if you were an attendee, a volunteer, sponsor, speaker, right? This is our way of kind of going through some of the things that happen at the conference that I think are really important for us to cover. Not only did we have an amazing event for 2 whole days, right, of connecting, collaborating, talking about things in our business and our personal lives, and all about what that means to us as women in business, and also having our men support us. Like the way that I saw us come together, that was powerful. So I just wanted to make sure that we all talked about the conference, the recap, see what we all thought about that whole experience, because that experience was different than what I've ever had at a conference. I mean, we do it differently, but but I see Sarah is here. I see Karan is here. And I will say that some of my things that I'm going to talk to y'all today is about the behind the scenes of building community. I want to see what our speakers had to say, what their experience was at the conference. I am going to bring y'all up. So let me bring you up, Karan. Let me bring you up first. Then I'm going to bring up Sarah. Oh, wait, I don't know if Karan ready. Let me put Karan back there. Sarah, let me bring you up first.
Hey.
Hey. All right, Karan, I want to make sure you're ready before I bring you up. Uh-oh, excuse me, y'all, my big hand in the way. So I'm going to turn this volume up a little bit. So this was so different. Oh my gosh, y'all listen, the challenges that I had putting this conference together, but the fact that I have a team of people that were like, Allegra, it's go time. What do you need? And that was it. That was it. So I want to commend my team, all the people who came together, especially the speakers. Sarah, I want to ask you though, because we're going to do introductions in a moment. Um, was the conference what you thought it would be? Did it come anywhere in the in the vicinity?
Well, it definitely was a great experience for me because even though I was virtual, I participated in it and I still got to hear all the other speakers because I attended virtually. So I like that you added that aspect because, there were a few people who got to see everything behind the scenes like that. So I feel like, being able to hear Lashana and Karan and Miss Bernice and everybody, all the speakers really was fantastic because if you didn't have that virtual aspect, I would have missed out on everything.
Yeah, and we were really like I was really iffy about it because I know that it's an experience that really has more impact when you're there in person. But when we had to make the changes, and I told you I had some challenges, okay? But when we had to make the changes, we had to open it up because we knew that people were already looking to hear you speak, hear TC speak. TC was already going to do her virtual thing because she's a bully when it comes to business. And she's like, so you're not going to include me? um, Now, do you think we should continue doing that? Is that something that you think more people will need for the future?
Yeah, I think we definitely should. I mean, I know it was kind of like a last minute addition, but I think if we have more time to promote it, we'll definitely have more people attending virtually. So I think that's something, for someone who's too far to travel or, just isn't able to make it at that time due to other commitments or from family or business or whatever. I think that's an excellent way to get them involved in the WIN community because you can also chat with all the other virtual attendees, so you're still getting to know people and interact with people as well. So I
Yeah,
like
I
that
saw
as
that.
well.
So what type of things? And let's just stick to the virtual. I'm going to bring Karan up because she had some takeaways on her experience too. And I know that the virtual aspect and in-person aspect is going to obviously be different. But one thing that Ali said was that she did feel like she was still there in essence,
Yeah.
and that she was a part of it. And I'm always looking. Y'all know how I am. I'm like, how can we improve on that? Like, what can we do better? How can we do better there? And so when you talked about engagement with each attendee, I'm like, why not look forward to, because this is the behind the scenes for me as a community leader. I'm like, yo, it'd be really cool to have just like a virtual volunteer, like just someone just to like make sure everything virtual is being engaged with. So y'all, listen, next year. I'm going to tell you at the end of this live what I really want to propose for next year, but I just want to hear from you guys in experience now. So I don't want to go too far with that. But Sarah, that's what came up for me. Like just with you saying engagement was really cool. The attendees, y'all keeping each other company when we were trying to figure stuff out.
Well, I definitely like the idea of having like a W.I.N volunteer to be like just in the virtual aspect for people who get the virtual tickets. I think that would help a lot. Plus, one thing I would say might be good for the virtual volunteer is to see if any of the virtual attendees have any questions for the speakers.
Yes.
Because the people who were there got to ask the speaker questions, but I think the virtual attendees should be able to too.
Okay, taking notes, guys. Because, I thought about it and I said, this is a movement that it always starts with something small. And I love how y'all have followed this journey with me, because I'm like, y'all, listen, they don't even know what it really looks like from behind the scenes, because we built stuff back here that has taken years to build. And once you get to that point of like, okay, that's it, like you got your secret sauce, you want to just make sure that continues running and stays, you know, fresh for you, for your business. Everybody ain't got to know what we do behind the scenes. Y'all don't have to know everything. I will tell y'all some things though. It was a little struggle. Let me bring up Karan real quick, and I want to hear from Karan. TC, I see you in the backstage. I'm going to bring you up as well.
Hey, Karan. Hey, TC.
Hey, ladies.
Hey, y'all. I just thank y'all for joining me tonight. I'm still on my conference high, so I'm not gonna like. I did take a break though, like aside from some of the people that I know, okay, they might be watching this live in our community that just decided to continue working as soon as the conference was over. I'm like, I need a nap. Because that conference wore me out. But but what I saw was the continuation of collaboration and connection. That's what I did see. And that's kind of what happened for me too, because I didn't stop that. I did take a pause on the workload though, because listen, we accomplished our goal. We had the conference. We're happy, right? Let's celebrate. Let's take time to like take it all in. And so that's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to like hear some of your takeaways and your takebacks. Karan, you did an amazing job. I was like, first of all, for your first speaking engagement, which it did not look like it at all. I swear, I was looking at Karan, I was like, there's a glow around her. I don't know. And it always happens when I'm around Karan too. Like, remember the time we were on brunch and the lady was like, oh, you are just absolutely. And Karan was like, I know. And I'm like, baby, if you don't pull, like, okay, so let's talk about your experience. How was that for you?
It was amazing. It was my first time speaking in Atlanta. I have spoke before.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Not her
Yeah,
first
I've
time.
spoke many occasions before, but in Atlanta officially, right? Um, so just before I get into it, and I don't want to forget this thought is you were saying about getting rest after an event. I don't remember who I got this from, but it was one of my influencers, a mentor, coach. Someone said that whenever you are putting something together or you are a part of an event, be sure that the day after the event you take time to reset, to reflect, to rest, to absorb, to process everything, because when you're in the throes of it all, you don't necessarily know what's going on. But when you look back on the videos and the photos and you start thinking, you sound like, oh my gosh, that really did happen. So having that time to rest and reflect and refresh is important after an event. So Miss Allegra, hearing you say that, you probably should have took like 2 or 3 days rest because you were zipping and zipping, you were up and down. She was everywhere, making sure that everything was happening and it went across seamlessly. And no, everyone doesn't need to know the backgrounds. For me, it was such a reigniting experience for me because I know, and I said this in the clubhouse room this morning, and I pray it's received the way that's intended, but I owned the stage. I am a speaker. I know how to speak. I know how to handle a audience. I know what I am supposed to do. And please know that I'm not being disrespectful of everyone else's talent. I'm just speaking on what I know. And when I have an opportunity to get before people, and Allegra was there, and those that were virtual maybe witnesses too, which solidified for me that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. These women asked me on the spot for custom affirmations for them. One lady was saying she was new in the business and was feeling the stress. Don't ask me what affirmation I gave her because I have no idea. It just came off the top of from my heart and from the top of my head, a affirmation for her. And someone else asked the same question, and they were very different affirmations. But in being able to answer the call individually like that and collectively, because the others that witnessed this happening was like, damn. I'm like, yes, indeed. So the entire experience, as I said, was very igniting for me. I agree with Sarah to have the virtual audience to have an opportunity to ask the speakers questions. I think that would be a very good value add for our virtual attendees, having more time to get the word out across all the channels to increase that virtual engagement. And each round gets better and better. So once you start the planning for the 25, and I hope you give yourself a little rest before you get started on that, 25 would just be even better than 24 was. 24 was number one. And each time you learn and you experience and you say, okay, I can do this differently. I can do this better. Not at all. I add this. And it just continues to grow. It continues to have people knocking at your door and say, hey, can I be a speaker too? Because they saw what you did from the first time and see how it grows, how this community has evolved to be such an influencer for female business owners of all backgrounds, right? I think of all those from the past 3 years that have come through this community, that are in this community, want to be in the community. And it's such a variety of people from different backgrounds that have come together. And listen, y'all, I'm going to always say this, so just know this. I was a WIN member before there was a WIN. I'm going to always say that. I legitimately can say that. Okay, there are a few others too, but I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about me. I was a WIN member before there was a WIN. So I have seen Allegra put in the work. Others, Sarah got on board. TC, I remember when TC first came in and she didn't know what she was doing. I knew she didn't know what she was doing, but with Allegra's tutoring, she got her on board. And now look at her, how she has evolved and become such a powerhouse. Even over there on LinkedIn, she's doing her thing. Sarah, she's running the ship. I mean, running things. She is the HWIC, head woman in charge of certain aspects of the organization. So to see these things happen and unfold, I'm hugely proud. I'm hugely impressed, and I'm excited to be a part of this community.
Yeah, Karan want to always get her credit. So yes, talk about the behind the scenes of this. I think, you're absolutely right. There was just so much power on that stage. And so I do applaud you for your growth. I mean, we all have grown together, right? Like, I don't think this has been a one-way street for any of us. And like, cause we learn from each other. And one thing I will say, TC, so we know TC and Sarah came at their own time, but Karan, I ain't gonna lie, they told me the secret behind the scenes, which is they was already there. They just wasn't telling us they was there, because even Sarah was like, "Well, I watched you for like a year, and I just wanted to make sure that this community was my community." And you do have that a lot, and that's why I love when we were at the conference how that's what we saw. People were like,
Yeah.
I saw you on Clubhouse for 3 years, and it's my first time meeting you. It's like what? Um, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see us take that online experience
Yeah.
and connect the dots, in real life and even virtually with TC. Now, I know TC was doing a lot of what she was doing already
Hmm.
before I met her, but I think what happens though, and this is what Karan, I think you're talking about, when you're around people who like, what did you say? What did you do again? What? And you got to talk about it more and you got to speak louder. I think
Yeah.
that's what this community has done for people,
Yeah. Yeah.
because a lot of times we're not saying what we really want to say.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
we're there and we're talking to people, but we're not really giving what we really want to give. And
Yeah.
so they're hearing us, but it's not
Yeah.
until somebody say, "Girl, I hear you, but I don't get it. Like, what are you really trying to say?" And then
You're absolutely right, because they both came with their own right, TC and Sarah both. And when I say they didn't know what they were doing in the clubhouse arena, they didn't know what they were doing, moderating rooms and all that. But because I remember TC and you were moderating together, right?
yes.
For some rooms.
wait,
Then
wait,
listen,
Karan. TC got to tell you about the story. TC, this is probably what you saw, Karan, because and this is why I want to emphasize this, because Karan saw a lot from the beginning, and TC, we talk a lot on the back end. This is what reconnect her to win means, right? So, TC, what was happening when you came into the community and you told me about it, and you was like, they was about to piss me off, trying to get me off Clubhouse because they were
what?
hating on me.
What? Hello? Can I get the tea,
They was
please?
hating on TC. She was already doing what she was doing, but they was hating on her. See, it's like you got to get in rooms where they applaud you, they put you on stage so people know. But when they know you that good, they try to get you out the room. But TC, what was your experience before you connected to W.I.N? Oh, I'm sorry. I got to put TC on stage.
Can't
She's
hear
about
you.
to get me. Hold on. I got to put her voice thing on stage.
Okay, so I have the voice thing, like Allegra said, and I have the face thing. So this is my voice thing, right? Yeah. So okay, so I'm not gonna come here to talk about like the very beginning, but the truth is, I think I think for me, I've always loved to be the behind the scenes, right? I still love to do it. That's the truth, right? Like if you give me like TC pick one, I would definitely love the behind the scene, right? Because that's where I feel much more comfortable. Now, so many people wouldn't necessarily agree, but hey, you think what you want to think, really. But listen, that's the thing. Like, if I'm given that one opportunity, I want to just go back, right? I'm this girl that even in class, you see me, I'm
Oh,
not
you
going to
trying
say
to hide? Oh, Karan, you right then. Never mind. I take it back. Never mind.
and so I've always been like behind the scenes, just trying to do what I'm doing. However, it gets to that stage
Yeah.
in your life where you start to understand how
Right.
powerful your voice is,
Yes.
right? And for me, I think, you know, I've been there seeing and looking and all of it. But it was the second time I came back to Clubhouse. I'm like, you know what? You're not going to tell me what I know already, right? And just because I decide to stay behind the scene doesn't necessarily mean that I do not know how powerful my voice is.
Right.
So yes, as regards to that story, so there's this particular individual, right? A couple of individuals, anyways, but that one was very particular because one, he had a connection with Allegra, and two, he was so when you have certain kind of people who just want to like, you know, they make certain things look like that is a thing. They just they come up with a certain kind of theory, right? And they just try to make it look like that's the policy, right? And it was a very horrible experience. But backstory, he's like, oh, you have a certain kind of qualities that is going to be very difficult. And I'm like looking at him like this, because usually when I'm in a certain space, I'm like quiet first before anything else. Yeah. And then he's like, one, you have an accent, and so people would not necessarily accept you. Secondly, you stay in the UK, so it's going to be very, very difficult to get, clients this is how we do design. I can remember from this area, from this side. And I'm like, that actually got me. I wouldn't lie, and I remember that I cried and I stayed out for
Yeah.
a very long time,
Yeah.
but then it dawned on me that just because a couple of people have a problem with me, or they are, for me, yeah, I had to tell myself that they were just so insecure about
Yeah.
my presence, right?
Yep.
And so, well, it actually took me a very long time to do that. It took
It,
me a
it
very long
sounds
time
like they were
to
trying to can't use cancel culture on you.
oh, okay, is that what it is?
Yeah.
See. Let's reconnect TC back to Win, okay? Because not that she's not connected. I'm just playing around with words, y'all. So listen, TC, the story was that TC did come back to Clubhouse after this guy did do this, and you know how it is on Clubhouse, it's just an app, so they could be following you, they could be in your rooms, right? And it looks like association, right? So that can be a fear factor for people
Right.
because they're like, okay, I'm not going to say nothing to this person because they know that person. But TC decided to speak up anyway. And when
Good for
TC
her.
told me this story, I was like, girl, what? Like, this stupid. Like, and you're right, Sarah. I think that we're so powerful. Women, ladies, men who support us, hear me out.
Yeah.
We're so powerful that when we get in rooms with other people, they are intimidated,
Intimidated. Mm-hmm.
right? So being in rooms, you got to know how to stand on your own. And
Absolutely.
being in community means that you have a comfort zone where if somebody out there hurt your feelings, you can come back and tell us, and we'd be like, okay, so where you want us to pull up at? Because the truth is, people who are down for you give you that safety net. People that support you help you feel like, okay, I'm connected to a network out here that if I need to reach out for resources, support, love, care, whatever that is, spirituality, whatever your community is,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
you know you can go back and reach out for that. You grow in that or you build that on your own. Now,
Exactly.
there are people out there that just aren't a part of your community. They don't even know what community means. And so
Exactly.
you have to, I think, and this is TC, I want to hear what your experience with at the conference, because you have come from a space of people really being threatened by your greatness to now being in a space where, what did my mama say? She was like, I like me some TC. She was like, TC, give it to you straight. So how did you feel? How do you feel in community, and how did you feel at the conference presenting?
So it was amazing,
Mhm.
amazing, amazing knowing the fact that, because the feedback was really, really good. Like, I had people like reaching out to me, like behind the scene on my there's this these three ladies. They're like, oh, TC, I wish I could just see you and hug you. And I'm like, hug me, you can hug me virtually, let's hug. No, but it was exciting, and it felt good. Really, it did feel good, because the truth is, some people put in the work, and some people like myself appreciate it when you know we see and we know that people appreciate the efforts that we put in.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, um, for me, the fact that that was appreciated, you know, it just stood out for me really. And for me, I feel like the conference was more quality because I had to do like some, oh, how did you feel? Did you enjoy yourself in the conference? As we're having conversation, and I feel like generally people felt at home, like people felt comfortable, people felt that was their space. It wasn't about the field of the whole Atlanta jumping inside a hall, right? It was really all about, hey, I connected intentionally. And that was basically a feedback I was getting. So I can imagine. And that part where people talk to you, you could feel that sense of satisfaction and happiness in their voices. I feel like that goes a long way, especially when it comes down to building communities, because I feel like the word community has been, I'm sorry, y'all, if you see my eyes closing, that's because I'm finished with it. So, the word community, the word community has been literally diluted so hard that I feel like people then, it got to a stage people started to lose faith in that word community, right? Because everybody wants to like prey on it, and try to take advantage of it. But the fact that there are still spaces like the W.I.N community where words are not just used but shown, right? I feel like it goes a long way. That's what I had to say. I feel like it goes a long way for me and for every other person.
We worked really hard. Like, I mean, I commended every person there because Karan, when the speakers showed up, when y'all showed up, Karan, did you feel like that was home for you? I'm gonna come back to Sarah in a moment, but
Oh yeah.
I right.
That's why I put it in the in the comments. You could literally feel it, the level of comfort everyone was experiencing. Even with the virtual, when they were asking you ladies questions, they asked them with ease. I mean, they literally raised their hands very easily to ask questions, which to me said two things: that your messaging absolutely came across with clarity for them.
Mhm.
They connected to what you were saying and what you had available, and they wanted more. So just think, if you even was presenting for longer, there would be even more questions. Those of us that are familiar with you, I even came up with this. Oh, dang, that's a good question. And how long has we been in the streets together, right? So having that interaction from them, and the guests that were there, I think it was TC that just said, having the quality of the audience, the yeah, the quality and the integrity of them. They wanted something from us. So they were paying attention. They were asking questions. They were engaged because they came to receive what we had to offer. And to see them even asking those in the virtual presence questions, I'm like, these women really are tied into this conference. So absolutely, the comfortability was absolutely there.
Yes and amen. I see Sheila wants to join. Sheila, I'm going. Can someone drop the link for me in the group if you can on
Yeah.
Facebook so Sheila can jump in? Here's the thing, Karan, y'all are saying, y'all are preaching, because there's so much that came out of the quality measure. Like that, I think, is the biggest word of the day for the conference, because we never know who's going to show up, who's going to, do their best, who's not. Like, we don't know. But one thing I do recognize about the energy in W.I.N, right? And that's why I love this concept, connect her to win, because every single one of our members and people who are on board, our sponsors, our supporters, we all have the same energy or above. Like, we all are goal getters. We really enjoy supporting each other. And one thing Miss Ernie said that I was like, oh my God, I feel like this is so pivotal for us, is that the conference really did put our members and everyone that supports us on the map. Our brand now can kind of be seen in a whole different light. Because TC,
Yeah.
People in that room had no idea that they were going to connect with someone in the UK that could support them in that way. They had no idea. We had people popping up on the second day that weren't registered for the conference. They were, we didn't know they were going to be there.
Yeah.
So, I love this opportunity that we get to see not only like through W.I.N what it looks like to put in the work, to see the results, and then to look at the quality measure and say, are we doing it right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we just doing it? Because there's a lot of times where people are just doing stuff, right? And so, because we're intentional in business, I really feel like we're doing it right. Sarah is our W.I.N programs manager. And Sarah, you also gave them a guide at the conference, and they asked you lots of questions too. How did you feel about that part of the got TC's guide?
I got
Listen,
TC's
I
guide
got my
right
stuff
here
too.
on my
Don't y'all
desk.
play with me.
Right here on my desk. I
Don't y'all
sure
play with
do.
me. I got my guide and I got my card.
Right
Okay.
here on my desk, and I got Sarah's e-guide. I got my stuff. I don't know about the rest of them, but I
I'm
got
just like,
mine.
look, let me pull out my materials. And listen, Sarah, go ahead. I would love to hear your take on.
Well, first I'll say it definitely made me as a speaker feel much more confident and empowered. And the reason I say that is because that was probably the largest audience I've ever spoken in front of. I've done it before, but the most I ever had was like 20 people. So for me, that was a different experience to do that and to, have people ask as many questions as they did. And, I would say it definitely was a different feel for that. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing I'll say. Um, I did like that we also were able to have interactivity with the speakers, even in a virtual aspect. Like I was able to give my hand out. I created a QR code. Everybody was able to look through all the points I was making simultaneously. So I still felt like I was able to engage with them and, let them take something home with them that they can go and fill out and try to implement the knowledge that they listen to and say, oh, all right, I can tweak this on my avatar, I can add that, and oh, now this makes more sense, like just to know that they can go home and edit their avatar blueprint like that to help improve their marketing message. That made me feel really good too.
Yeah, I love that. I just first of all, I know all about what y'all do, but it's really good to see you perform. Right? Like that's just part of my joy because y'all have grown with me, and we really do enjoy our successes here. I thought I saw Sheila pop in, but I'm gonna try and get her back in here. Um, so I'm really excited that Sarah and TC, that you both were able to really have a full experience in speaking and actually having a opportunity to engage with the audience in a way. Next year, I really want to just make sure that we are so intentional because I know these people are coming back. Like they already said it. So let me tell y'all how it went after the conference. But I just wanted to get all of your full experiences first before I go to the post part of the conference. Sheila, I'm going to bring you up. Just want to make sure you're ready to come on stage and just, talk about Sheila is our other speaker. She's going to talk about her experience at the conference as well. And then I want to talk about what has transpired since, because it's been like 3 days, 4 days. And so I, TC, I think I was on the phone with you. Was that yesterday or the day before? And I was like, but why? But why? But why? Like, listen, I'm going crazy over here because collaborations and connections make you ask a lot of questions. Okay. At least, I don't know. Is it just me? Okay, maybe it's just me. So it makes me ask a lot of questions because when you meet people and when you get to know people, there are curiosities about them that now come up because you're seeing new things about them, you're hearing new information all the time. So it really, I'm going to tell y'all what really made me excited after the conference that I saw that transpired. But Sheila, let me bring you up. Add you to the stage. Hello, my queen. Hello, hello.
Hello, 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 hello. I'm still on a high. I'm just, oh my God. I've been telling everybody I know in Texas and Louisiana and anybody else who would listen that I have been in many communities and I have even, you know, I've engaged communities, I've set up community groups. But when I tell you that this group here, you ladies, you all who are here, those who couldn't make it to be here, what you have is so powerful and so special. And I will tell you, this does not exist everywhere. But when I tell people about what happened at this conference, the relationships, the community you all have built, the bond, the support for one another, the knowledge and wisdom and experience in this group is off the chain. But when I tell people about this group, they're like, please, please, can you bring it to Austin? Can you bring it to Louisiana? So folks are asking, even, people who didn't make it to the conference, but they want to be a part. They want to be connected to greatness. They want to be connected to wisdom. They want to be connected to power, to strength. They want to be connected to love and the way you all care for one another out loud. Oh my God. Like I said, I'm still on a high. I'm just on a high.
Sis, okay. So I got to go over to Miss Sheila real quick because we have to get your takeaway even from your own experience, because I saw you win some stuff and you just like lit up the entire room, sis, had us rolling. We were cracking up because she manifested that thing. But you also spoke to us and you gave us an opportunity to get to know your story and who you are. And one thing I will say, I applaud you for taking those trips, because Miss Sheila, I just met you this year through Miss Ernice, our corporate sponsor. Shout out to a corporate sponsor. If y'all don't know who Miss Ernice is, you're sleeping under a rock, okay? So I want to just thank her for connecting us, because since I connected with Miss Sheila, I don't know about y'all, but one conversation with Miss Sheila, it will change your life. You'll look at things differently. You'll see things differently, in a different way, right? Mentally. And so what I want to ask you is, because you said it was a different experience with us, and I know we're a little silly, but what was the thing that stuck out for you the most at the conference?
There was so much. I feel so full. I mean, listen, Tara, TC, Sarah, all of you all who spoke. Oh my God, Karan, everybody who spoke. It was just so powerful. But I think the thing to me that made this event and what has been created here just like so powerful, like something you could never, you can't put a lid on it because it's already exploded beyond that, is the sisterhood, the connection. When I think about, it's women into networking, but it's the power of relationship. And I would say also the power of caring for self, but also for others, the way you all care for one another. That was just, let me tell you that.
Wait, Sheila. See, okay, so earlier, Miss Sheila, because I know you popped in after Karan was bragging about, I'm pointing the wrong way, that way. Karan was bragging about being first in line, to really be on this journey to see this community built from the ground up. And one thing I will say though, Miss Sheila, is that like a lot of our community members, look at our day ones, like TC, Sarah. I think one of the things that we have, and I want to go around because I want to hear from y'all, because I think the conference is an example, like Miss Sheila said, of the things that we do very small, in very small ways. Like how we keep our win spaces very safe. That could be Clubhouse, Facebook, it could be anything. And I think with that component, it means that you have to build relationships, which is one of the hardest things that I've had to do. And if you're going to network properly, you're going to have to learn how to build relationships, which starts with you. And I think we've mastered that. Like, I think we've mastered keeping our own selves at the fire and saying, did we do it already before we tell someone else to? Sarah, let's go around real quick before we go back to Miss Sheila. Sarah, do you think that we have practiced that in a small way, or what are your thoughts?
Practice.
Just being very effective in creating safe spaces in a very small way, and
I think
also
I
maintaining
think that goes without saying because
those
we
relationships too. So, because building relationships is hard, but I think we've gone through a lot of I think we've gone through a lot of that behind the scenes. And, the reason why I'm bringing this up, let me tell y'all, because the conference was an example of all of the hard work behind the scenes.
Yes.
yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the things that we do in a very small way, I think has helped us become resilient in the big things. And I just wanted to hear your experience, Sarah, from the behind the scenes of building this community and being a part of it. That really does help us do what Sheila is saying we do, build that sisterhood.
I really think it goes without saying, to be honest with you, because for me at least, if it didn't, I wouldn't be here. Because I've gone through quite a few different groups over the years, and W.I.N has, like everybody said, felt like home with that aspect. And there's a few other groups that I've gotten involved with now that I'm still involved with, but it took quite a few years. I mean, I know I started networking, like really networking for my business, probably starting 2018, but it took a while to find the right community. And I think we take it to another level in comparison to other communities I've been involved in.
Thank
So
you, Sarah.
I
TC's back chilling me. It's 12:37 a.m. TC, you ready to go to bed?
don't know how she stays up that late. I'm tired now.
I'm looking at her face and I'm like, I've been to the UK and I know it's several hours ahead of us. I'm like, she's got to be tired right now.
So Sarah, you're right, because we're both from New Jersey, okay? Miss Sheila, with the reason why I believe that big impact of what we saw at the conference is because behind the scenes, as we're building community, we really do want that sisterhood. Like we all want it. Like I think it comes from a fulfillment thing. Like I want to be around my tribe. And I remember saying that before I even got my tribe together. But I also think it comes with some of the hard things like critical conversations that people like to shy away from. Karan, what do you think?
Oh, I agree. I was just about to tell TC, she's saying, just ignore her. Your light too bright to be ignored, ma'am. I just want to say that out loud. I'm just saying, your light is too bright to be ignored. Okay, so yeah, but no, the question. I've always felt in every room I've been in, for whatever reason, in the W.I.N community has always been a safe place. Actually, me running my room, W.I.N was an example for me of how to do that, how to moderate a safe space for those on Clubhouse, on Facebook, wherever it is, doesn't matter. I got the model from W.I.N on how to create those safe spaces and to know that, like you said, Allegra, that where do we need to pull up at? Because I make it perfectly clear in all my communities that this is a safe place and it will remain so. Try me if you will, because I'm just not having it, right? Because those that come into our communities trust us. Therefore, we are accepting the responsibility to keep them safe. Whether you know it or not, when people join your community, you're saying, come on in, I got you. And the rest of us are saying, come on in, we have your back. And that's what community is about. When you create, and Sarah said it, Miss Sheila, I'm sure, has experienced it, TC as well. We all have been in other communities where it was just a place where people gathered. I'm not even going to say it was community because, as TC said, community is used too lightly these days. It's trendy word, right? It's one of those words like, what was the word they used to say a lot? there's 100 of them, but it's being used too lightly. Community is it's a huge word. It has a lot behind it. And if you're going to say you are having a community, you maintain a community, one must understand what you truly are saying. And WIN is an exemplary example of what community looks like.
That's beautiful, Karan. I'm going around. I want to make sure I get back to Miss Sheila. But before I go to TC, something came up because as a community leader, I say, yeah, there is definitely a lot that goes into community. It's not just about, oh, we're a group that comes together, because that can be messy if there's like, all Indians, no chiefs, or vice versa, right? We got to kind of create a balance so that everyone respectfully gets what they need, but it always starts with leadership.
That's right.
And some of the biggest challenges for me, y'all, were boundaries. Like this conference, like I'm telling y'all, next year is going to be so different because I've literally found where my boundaries are around some of these things, right? Whether it's who I'm including, the planning process, all of those things. TC, because I'm going off of what Miss Sheila said last. TC, when you think about this sisterhood, because I think TC is the one that always like I can talk to, and I'll be like, "Girl, please," right? Like me and TC always are so direct with each other, and I think you have to understand your boundaries, like who you can talk to, how, who's really on your team, and who's kind of there for the moment, right? And where you're willing to say no, right? And when you're willing to kind of accept one too. TC, did you have any thoughts on that? Like how that creates really good sisterhood to create good boundaries? Did you experience that in this community at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, you're right because you know. So this is how I'm going to say it, right? I feel like when you are in the midst of people who understand what community is, there's something called respect. So respect in both sides. So these people get you and help you to respect your boundaries, while they teach you how to respect other people's boundaries. So end of the day is a win-win for all parties. Sometimes I realize that it is not because certain people do not want to respect your boundaries. It is because you do not understand what your boundaries are. And so they meddle into the boundaries and you are like, oh no, my boundaries. But you don't even know what your boundaries are. You know, so I feel like having like this whole true intentional genuine try, I believe that it has done a whole lot, right? Because now you know it is fine for me to say no, like big no with my full chest, and I expect that if you respect me, you would understand my no, and you wouldn't take it out of proportion,
Right.
right? So I feel like that's a huge thing. Now, not everyone is able to accept it because sometimes people get on that, like you said, Miss Karen, like, some people would say community, but they don't even know what that means.
Right.
And I feel like, see, the WIN community isn't like large of the whole of the US or the whole of Atlanta, but it's not about the numbers, it's about the intentionality
Right.
in people getting to learn more about themselves by connecting with other people that appreciate who they are. So I feel like that's how I'm able to. So I know some people be like, oh, this is demonstrating with her heart. So I'm trying to calculate the words so you know how very intentional I am with my words, right? So but that's I feel like that's what it is when it comes down to the win. I mean, it's not because we're trying to exaggerate. um I'm not exaggerating, but one thing I would say is that because some people would watch this and feel like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go to the ring and things are gonna listen. If you come to the win, you need to show up. You need to say, "Hey,
Wait, I'm going to jump in here. TC is a trip. So, one thing I will say, and back to you, Miss Sheila, I want to say this. These ladies have definitely been in the community, have been on the right side, left side, in between. Like, I've called for help and they like, what you need? Like, just let me know.
Yeah.
I also believe that they hold the same values. I believe you attract who you are. And some of the things that I had to do before I started community was get myself together. So if anybody knows, like TC, Karan, Sarah, all what you're saying is really, when you're working on yourself, you're going to track who that is.
Yeah.
And if you don't have boundaries, everybody that come in your space ain't going to have boundaries either.
Ooh,
and they're not
Lord.
going to expect you to have any. So these ladies are a growth and a development. And through all of that in this community, we have had boundaries to make sure that we continue to grow. Because the truth is, everyone would love to win, right? But everyone may not have the capacity at the time, for whatever reason. But one thing I will say is that we always have space for everyone to come through. They may not stick around all the time, and people may not. But one thing I love about this community is that we always have way for people to come back and say, you know what, I want to try it again. Let me do it again. How many times have y'all started and stopped a business, or started and stopped an effort or initiative, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to try it again, but this time I'm going to start from here and not from scratch. So, Ms. Sheila, I thank you for saying that about the community. I wanted the ladies to kind of emphasize that it takes hard work to build that emphasis on sisterhood. It's not just, hey girl, be my friend. Like, it is not like that. But I want to also hear about your experience on your connections there, because I think you were going to the venue owner, you were connecting her with Miss Ernise to get some federal contracts. They were buying up all the vendor stuff, like
Oh my gosh. Oh, let me just say, so I don't know if there was a person I missed there, but I want to say one thing before I go there. So this is about Kiran. Let me just say, when I knew I was in the community, I think it was the first day, maybe the first day. And Kiran said, Lord, that girl, yeah, she called me, and when she said that, and I felt like I got called in, and it was so true. But I love that authenticity, and that she was herself, and she could tell me that and know that it wasn't going to be weird or anything, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the kind of stuff that can make or break relationships. But man, I knew I was in then. And let me just say, it prepared me. I had a call with my granddaughter. I was trying to reach my daughter. She answers the phone, and she said, hey, Yaya, I'm watching Powerpuff Girls on her mom's phone, and I wanted to talk to the mom. And she says, oh, no, please. And if that my daughter-in-law had heard that, she would have flipped out. It didn't flip me out. What I heard was a 6-year-old with a confidence enough to be able to say no to me, not in a mean way. She said, no, please. She said, if I give my mom the phone now, that's it. I got to go to bed. And I say that, I want to feel I had something to do with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Ernise told me before the last drawing, she was going to put my luggage out on the street. And I was like, listen, put it out. Because this right now that's happening, I'm on a roll here.
That was priceless. That was priceless. Sarah, I don't know if you were able to see the entire interaction. So they were doing the final drawing, and I think that was for your funnels, the giveaway for the funnels.
No, I didn't. The main parts I saw was everybody speaking. So
well, at the end, there were some giveaways, and the final giveaway was the grand prize from Miss Orinthia and Meta Connects for a free funnels for, I don't know, it was huge. It was like an $8,000 value. And Miss Sheila had her ticket, and she and Miss Ernest were ready. Miss Ernest was ready to go. And Sheila was standing there. She said, I can't go because I just know she's gonna call my number. She was standing next to me, and sure enough, her number was called for her to get that grand prize.
Oh,
It
that is
was
too
over
cool.
with. The entire room just blew up into laughter as to how she had already claimed that she was going to get that prize before her number was called. I mean, much like I did too, because I told y'all that juice pack was going to be mine, right? And they called my number. It was mine. And it was no rigging because it was a bowl full of numbers, and she just reached in and pulled the number out. But yes, that was an amazing demonstration of community and how when you are in alignment with others, things like that happen. So yeah, it was beautiful.
Well, I will say that both Karan and Miss Sheila came both days, right? I mean, hence they were speakers, but they also attended, sat down, listened to the speakers, and listened to each other, participated in the social mixer and vendor exhibit, bought some stuff, and they had tickets for both days.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, because I think y'all won for both days, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So y'all won both. So this is the power of it, because not only did they manifest both times. Like, I don't know if you manifested the first time, Michelle, but I know Karan was like, this mine. So basically that so I'm looking at this because manifestation, like I wish I could really emphasize to anyone who was not there the feeling and the way it happened. It was so purposeful. It was so unreal in a way.
Yeah.
Because Sheila, you were adamant. Like, I mean, and let's just give grace to this, because sometimes we're not adamant enough about the things that we want, right? And because maybe we don't think we could get it, whatever. But if we're just that adamant, like Miss Sheila was that day, when she was like, "Go ahead, Mister, you put my bags out. I don't care. You're gonna get it," and I know you believed it, because you were standing there like at attention.
I told
like her
her
body
whatever
language
was in that bag wasn't worth what I was gonna win. That's what I told her.
She already believed it. And so here's what I'll say, okay, because we're going to go back around and tell everyone how they can, reconnect with you all since the conference is over. We are still connecting. I will say that the post-connection activity is fabulous. Y'all, shout out to all of you who sent me over your photos, your videos of connecting after the conference, meeting up with each other in Atlanta, connecting over the phone if you're in different cities, right? Getting on a Zoom call. Those of you who are doing these things, it is showing that the power of our community is not just about getting together for a couple days. It's not just about sitting in a room for an hour and being like, okay, nice to meet you. It's about, how is this connection going to change my life today for the rest of my life? And that's why we want to make sure that, we create safe spaces for those intentional connections. And so, y'all, listen, I am so excited for reconnecting. And, for those of you who are not very informed about what connecting is, I would just implore you to get into the W.I.N community and to start learning. We are, TC smiling because she's like, we're starting the networking rooms again. Every day, Monday through Friday, we did networking rooms for those of you who are very novice in this area. And you're like, I just need to know how to get bold about showing up and talking about my business and talking to other people and building relationships. We teach you how to do that here.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing that again soon. So y'all, let's go around the room. Sarah, how can they reconnect with you since the conference is over?
Probably the quickest way to get a hold of me is through Facebook, because that's my master platform and I'm there all the time. Or if you want to, make a free discovery call, you can do that through my website at sarahsocialstrategy.com.
Awesome. All right, y'all connect with Sarah because she got some good stuff. Karan, how can they reconnect?
So I just put mine in the chat. You can follow me on any of those. Okay, I thought I put it in the chat. You can follow me on any of the socials at either Karan Fairweather, Karon Fayrweather, or The Affirmation Whisperer on any of the socials. DM me if you have questions. I particularly am getting to beginning to, I have two things that I'm about to start. I have a master class that will be starting in January, foundation with this. Well, I did have a book over here with my Life Rediscovered journal. There will be a master class in January on that, and I am starting to push out more about the personalized affirmations consultations that I have for people who are interested in getting those personalized affirmations. That's one thing that the conference did for me, that I need to put that out there more, because having those ladies to ask me directly to give them affirmations on a specific whatever, and I was able to literally in moments give them an affirmation with much ease, reminded me I need to get back to that, because people need that. So on any of the socials with my name or my business name, my branding name, that's what I'm trying to say, the Affirmation Whisperer, I can be found almost anywhere. Message me and we can make a contact.
Thank you, Karan. And y'all, listen, please put your information in the comments for the viewers here and in the replay to connect with you. That's another easy way for them to go ahead and have a touch point, because you know how we are, right? We hear it, we see it, we touch it again, and get connected. TC, I want to go to you next because I want to know how can they connect with you all the way out there in the UK.
Okay, so you can either come visit me. I'm just joking. But you can connect with me on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I, I have, I'm actually active in all of those channels, right? You can send me a DM. You can also email me, info at CC Business Solutions. If you want to find out more about what we have going on, you can either go to service.tcbusinesssolutions, or you just go straight to the website TC Business Solutions, Instagram TC Business Solutions, LinkedIn. It's super easy to find me ways. Yeah, I'm happy to connect with you.
Okay, Sheila, I'm sorry. I was trying to drop your stuff in the comments outside of the chat, so I'm gonna get it over
Okay.
there too. But go
Yeah.
ahead and tell us, how can we reconnect with you after the conference?
Okay. EquityActionAlliance.com is my website for the equity work I do. Sheila Sturgis Craig on Facebook or LinkedIn, or they can email me at strategicconsultingforyou@gmail.com. They can call me. Karan, I'm trying to work on this, remembering this other number, 512 566 7699. That's my business line. But I just want to say this one thing before I stop, is that every single person in this group poured into me. And I just want to say thank you. I am recently retired, starting this new business around leadership, the publishing. Clavia. I spent time with Clavia talking about publishing, and she and I are going to do some things. I talked with Racole about taxes and all that good stuff, and the juice lady. We're going to be juicing in January. Uh, yes, yes, yes. I finished all mine. We're going to be juicing in January. Looking forward to that. Oh my God, just TC, there's such wisdom every time you speak. And I love that you speak with such a confidence and authority and wisdom. Every time I click on you, whether it's live, whether it's on social media, that you're just dropping nuggets of wisdom. Sarah, same thing. Both of you all. I haven't met you. I sent a little message to Sarah saying I can't wait to meet you all in person. But when I tell you, every time you all talk, there's such wisdom and such genuineness about wanting to really push your business, but also really wanting to help the people you work with. And that's been just beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Allegra, you the bomb, girl.
Listen, I'm over here just melting. I'm like, y'all are so amazing. I'm this Miss Sheila. Yes, it's exactly like that, and you are absolutely fabulous. Coming in this community is just an alignment. I told you the first time I spoke with you, I was like, oh my God, she is big time, y'all. So you never know who you're going to connect with in this community. And that's why we tell you to connect to win. It's all about you showing up. Thank you so much, ladies. Y'all just have an amazing night. Don't you all forget to connect with these ladies moving forward, okay? And we're going to continue doing what we do best, and that is connect to. Oh, wait, did I say it wrong?
Win to win.
Oh, Arinthia is going to get me. So we were doing this thing at the conference where Arinthia would be like, connect, and it would be like,
To win.
Yeah, okay. That's how I got. All right, y'all. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.